Alright, let's just settle down and talk about this for a moment. So, if you've been on YouTube long enough, you're probably aware of how exactly sponsorships are perceived on the website. While deemed okay in some cases, unfortunately for the most part, they're considered a sign that a YouTuber is selling out. And I can't help but feel annoyed by this. And the reason why is because, sure, while some YouTubers may use sponsorships as a way to sell out to make more money, this obviously isn't the case with all YouTubers. And I can't help but feel as if this mindset is fueled by ignorance and bandwagoning. And this mindset behind sponsorships and selling out is exactly what we'll be talking about in today's video. And so, without further ado, let's finally get into it. So if it wasn't already obvious enough, YouTubers, just like anyone else, have bills to pay. And the average viewer will most likely think to themselves that the money that helps pay the bills comes from the views, right? I mean, if a YouTuber's job is to make videos, and they get views from those videos, then what's the point of having sponsorships if all the money comes from the views from those videos? Well, you see, that depends. Let me explain what I mean. You see, how much money is generated on YouTube or on any other website for that matter, all comes down to this little thing called CPM. Now, to those who fully understand what exactly CPM is, you can skip this part of the video entirely. But to those that don't, I'd recommend watching this part of the video as a way to understand what exactly I'm talking about. Anyways, the advertising acronym CPM stands for Cost Per Thousand Impressions, which is a measurement of how much money it costs for you to reach 1,000 readers, viewers, visitors, or listeners. The formula for calculating CPM is simple, using the information from an advertising vehicle's media kit. Using the CPM of potential advertising choices is a helpful way to make comparisons. So in other words, money is made by CPM through advertising, and CPM varies monthly. For example, the CPM may be incredibly high in December, but very low in January. And this is very normal, with this being the reason why. The price being paid through CPM is dependent on the amount of competition in the advertising. This is usually highest in December, both because of the holidays and because it marks the end of annual advertising budgets. While the months leading up to the new year offer plenty of opportunities advertisers love to capitalize on, from Halloween to Thanksgiving to Christmas, January just doesn't have much to offer. With the lack of holidays, coupled with many advertisers still nailing down their budgets for the new year, the industry just isn't running as many ads. And so, there you have it. The way that your favorite YouTubers make money is through CPM. But without enough CPM in order to sustain a living, sometimes a YouTuber may need to rely on sponsorships, or even Patreons. Or maybe a YouTuber doesn't need to rely on any of that at all and they have a job outside of YouTube. Maybe that YouTuber makes money from both YouTube and a job outside of YouTube, but that still isn't enough to sustain a living, so they need to use something like Patreon or sponsorships. Maybe a YouTuber needs to spend thousands of dollars on props for videos as a way to help them be at the highest quality possible, so they have to use sponsorships as a way to make up for that lost money. Maybe when a YouTuber chooses a company to do a sponsorship for, they don't have any control over how exactly that sponsorship is done, so they just have to go along with it. As I stated previously, it really just depends. And if it wasn't already obvious enough, what it depends on really just comes down to where exactly that YouTuber is living and how much they have to pay for rent and things like that. And in order to pay rent, sometimes YouTubers have to use other means such as sponsorships and Patreons. And once again, while some YouTubers do sell out by using sponsorships and Patreons as a way to make more money, that does not apply to all YouTubers. And selling out is what we're going to be talking about right now. Now, if there's one term in particular that I feel has been completely tarnished by YouTube or just the entirety of the internet as a whole, it's selling out. And the reason that I say this is because I feel that people have completely forgotten what the term actually means. You see, we live in a day and age where everything that's wrong is now considered right, and everything that's considered right is now considered wrong. And the term selling out is one of those things that's been completely twisted and morphed from its original meaning. So as a way to kick off this part of the video, I'm going to show you the proper definition of selling out. Selling out is a common idiomatic pejorative expression for the compromising of a person's integrity, morality, authenticity, or principles in exchange for personal gain, such as money. So, in other words, you're exchanging your morality for personal gain, which is not something a YouTuber automatically does just because they're using sponsorships. And it's like I already said earlier on in the video. Sometimes, as a way to pay the bills, YouTubers have to use other means as a way to make money, and those other means being sponsorships. Yes, you could argue that YouTubers could get a different job outside of YouTube as a way to avoid using sponsorships and Patreons. But you see, the problem with that is that, for one, it's like I already said, some YouTubers, if they have a very expensive rent, may need to have a Patreon as well as a regular job as a way to pay off that rent. Not only that, but by having a different job outside of YouTube, that's only pushing back the effort that they could put into making more videos. And with how the YouTube algorithm works with it favoriting more videos over less, they're only hurting their channels in the long run. So no. Once again, and I'm going to keep bringing this up because I feel it's important to, using sponsorships does not mean that you're selling out. It just happens to be a way of helping you support yourself. Now, before we finally conclude this video, there's one last thing that I want to talk about, and that's how some ads work. So one thing I've come to realize over the course of YouTube's life cycle as a website is that a lot of people seem to think that YouTubers have 100% control over how exactly ads on their videos work, when really, that's not the case at all. You see, there may be times where a YouTuber has to make a video revolving around a certain product in order to get sponsored by a company having to do with that certain product. And the reason for this is because a certain company may want their product to become well known through a big YouTuber that they're using to sponsor that product with, in exchange for the YouTuber making some money from that sponsored video as a way to help support themselves. And once again, this is probably going to be one of the last times that I say this, but this does not mean by any means that the YouTuber that's sponsoring is selling out. It just means that they're supporting themselves once again. That's it. Sure, they could be selling out, but that doesn't mean that they are. It's as simple as that. Also, I apologize if me constantly bringing up the fact that sponsorships has nothing to do with selling out gets annoying after a while, but I feel that it's important to bring up. But with that being said, and so, in conclusion, sponsorships and selling out are two different things. Sponsorships has to do with making more money as a way to put food on the table, while selling out has to do with betraying your morals for greater success. And really, that's as far as it goes. And so, that brings us to the end. Anyways, that's all I had to say. I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, then make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share on your favorite social media websites. Any support would be appreciated. Also, if you didn't know, I have a second channel called Pointless Nonsense where I upload side content, so if you're interested in that, then make sure to subscribe to it. I've left a link to the channel in the description below. Also, finally, I have a Twitter, so if you want to keep up to date with me, then there's that. But that's it, and I'll see you guys next time. But until then, I'm out. Peace.